So I promised that we'd get into the weeds of how to create a calorie deficit over the next 8 weeks, and this is as promised. So I've come up with a quick example here. Basically, if you want to create a calorie deficit and you want to ensure that you're losing a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of time, this is the calculation we'll use, and obviously you can input your own numbers here as you need to. So I've used this example because a typical goal in 8 weeks would be 5 kilograms loss, and basically if we're trying to lose 5 kilograms in 8 weeks, then we need to create a specific calorie deficit to allow that to happen. Well, example being, we'll talk about it here. So obviously, I've said this before, calories are just a unit of heat, a unit of measurement. So we need to be able to use our body fat as that unit of, burn that unit of heat, burn that amount of calories for us to be able to create that deficit. 1 kilogram, and this is accurate, 1 kilogram of body fat equals 7,700 calories. Now, we can never ensure that it's purely body fat. Usually if you're in a deficit, especially if you're not keeping your protein intake high, you may find that 1 kilogram isn't just body fat, it can also be some lean muscle mass and bone density, things like that, especially if you create a severe calorie deficit. But for our purposes, we're going to assume it's body fat for the most part, especially because next week you're going to think about keeping your protein intake up to make sure that doesn't happen. So 1 kilogram equals 7,700 calories. We want to lose 5 kilograms, which means we need to times 5 times 5 by 7,700. That means that over the next 8 weeks, we need to create a deficit of 38,500 calories. Now, again, that sounds like a lot, and I get it, that sounds very scary, so don't worry. Because then what we're going to do is we're going to divide that per week. So each week, we divide our 38,500 by 8, and that equals 4,812. So that's how much of a deficit you would need to create per week to lose 5 kilograms in 8 weeks. So bear in mind, that's actually less than a kilogram a week that you're going to be losing in that time frame. And then again, we divide that total by 7, which is our days in the week, which means that per day we need a deficit of 6,687 calories. Now, this really doesn't change whether you're big, whether you're small, whatever it is. Obviously, the amount of total calories you can consume, depending on that. So let's say you're a 6'2" male, 100 kilograms, and you can still eat more food. So that means that your 600 calories isn't going to be that hard to take away. But if you're a 5-foot female that weighs 55 kilograms, getting that, reducing your calories to a point of being 687 under might be very difficult. So you still need to tailor this for yourself, and you can literally plug and play these numbers. You can change them how you want. Let's say you want to lose 5 kilograms in 12 weeks, then again, instead of dividing this by 8, we divide it by 12. So what I would suggest is if you have a set date that you want to lose a certain amount of weight by, then look ahead in the future, divide up how many weeks that's going to be, how long that's going to take, and then you can work backwards from there. And again, sometimes, so for example, a kilogram over 8 weeks, 5 kilograms over 8 weeks, if 687 seems like too much of a severe deficit for you, then that's okay. You can literally just decide to lose less weight. So we can literally just double that. Let's say you want to do 5 kilograms in 16 weeks. It might seem like a long time, but then we're only actually reducing our calories by 300, which is what? A couple of cans of Coke, an extra large latte, a muffin, whatever it is that you have per day. And we can quite easily just take that out of our diet. So what I suggest is you work backwards. Start off with the end in mind, begin with when you want to lose this weight by, decide how much weight you want to lose, and then work backwards from there. And again, this doesn't really change, but what you have got to also be aware of is your deficit might change, or so your starting base metabolic rate might change as you lose weight. So again, you're just gonna, over the weeks, have to be a little bit more aware of what is 687. Now, if people want to lose weight healthily and in a steady manner, then what I actually recommend doing is giving it a good month of a set amount of calories, see that weight loss, and you'll see a big initial weight loss at first. It'll be less and less and less. You'll probably come back to around your maintenance calories, which is good for you, and then you can reset and readjust after a month or so. That's the most healthy way to do to lose weight. However, obviously some people are on a tighter time frame, they want to sprint it. You've got a holiday coming up, you've got a wedding, you've got something, a bigger life event that you want to be like in good shape for, you want to be looking lean, you want to get into a nice suit, you want to get into a dress, whatever that might be. So from there, what I'm going to suggest is obviously you might need to be more severe. So unfortunately, losing 5 kilograms in 4 weeks is a severe calorie deficit, but again, it might be possible for some people if you're bigger. And again, you're just going to have to adjust it based on you and what you think is achievable. But this is how we do it. And again, so I will give you another quick example just to make sure that the messages really hit home, and then you can go away and try and work this out for yourself. So I know that I'm currently, after a gaining phase, going into a weight loss phase. So in this weight loss phase, I'm going to try and lose 10 kilograms, which is a lot and it's quite strict and severe, to then go into, to drop down to roughly from 85 kilograms to about 75 kilograms. So I'm going to try and lose 10 kilograms in 12 weeks. So again, all I would do is plug and play these numbers. So if I want to lose 10 kilograms, 10 times by 7,700, which equals 770. Easy maths, thank God. So that's easy maths. The next maths I'm not going to be able to do without my calculator, but then all I would do is use this number. I want to lose this number, which is 1,700, in 12 weeks. So in 12 weeks, I want to lose 10 kilograms. So I divide 7,700 by 12, and that's going to give me my weekly calorie deficit, which there's no chance I can work out for you right now, not off the top of my head. And unfortunately, I'm using my phone to film this. So divide that by 12, that'll give me my amount, and then I'll divide that by 7, so that number will always stay the same, and then that'll give me my daily calorie deficit. And again, that's quite strict, that's quite severe. I'm looking at dropping, I've done this maths for myself previously, I am looking at going from my usual 2,600, 2,700 calories per day, and previously more than that, to more like 1,800, 19. Again, that's very severe, and that's very strict, and I know that that is going to be quite restricting, but I know it's for a small period of time. So that's just one example, and again, you have to decide what's right for you. So what I'd like you to do now in the comments is work out what your daily calorie deficit needs to be to hit your goal. Let me know what it is, let me know what you think it should be, and then if you have any questions, hit it below in the comments, get in touch, WhatsApp.